Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us today for a special event where we are pretty much having a celebration of the retirement of the icon Sting. We'll also have the retirement of Christian Cage as we seek to move on in the save. Approaching the end of the third year, that will be after our All Out pay-per-view, which of course is our next event. So yeah, we're rapidly going through the save, and as I say, more and more events will be upcoming. We'll have the show at Arthur Ashe, we'll have the Dynamite anniversary show, just the same as real life. I might need to put a few shows in because we've got a couple of deals that are they need a few shows in the next couple of months, and I could end up having both my pay-per-view providers in America not happy, so that's not going to be good. But at the same time, like, we make all our money from the AEW Plus network, and we're like 400 million plus, so we're fine in that regard. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a wee bit of build towards the pay-per-view coming up. There's obviously good matches for Sting and Christian Cage, as we've previously announced, and I just went with the sold out logo just because it was dark. You know, that kind of Sting colour basically. So I hope you enjoy it. Whether we get the 100-rated matchup, it's possible Kenny Omega in the main event, but we'll explain the storylines and decisions as we tick along. So without further ado, let's crack on with AEW, A Mission of Justice. So I could have put this one anywhere. It's at T-Mobile Park. I don't even know which area of America we're at. The industry's in such a decline. It's like I think it's 4% industry, 8% economy. So yeah, we're pretty much at the lowest of the low here before the industry starts to pick up. It might even be 2025, maybe even into 2026 before we're properly thriving in the attendance kind of thing. But I felt like it was a good way to start the show with just having like icons and obviously Hangman in as well, just really putting Sting over. So obviously a St. John Cena, which is as I say, the save is away from realism, or just signing whoever. And Cena's obviously got the matchup with MJF at All Out. But just saying, well done on a fantastic career. I've hired Austin as just like a kind of mouthpiece and at the same time a road agent kind of thing. Would have been Dwayne, but Dwayne had a drug scandal in this, so Dwayne's not here. But just Austin saying, you know, well done Sting. You know, it's been fantastic. We'll get on the Smoking Skulls sessions and all that kind of stuff, blah blah blah. But really, hell yeah, just gives him a beer, etc. And Sting's like, I don't really drink. He's like, okay. And then Hangman comes out, just says, it's good that all these legends are thanking you, but as someone that's here than the president, that you've done for this business is appreciated. And he takes a beer for Austin. They kind of clash with beers. And it's just a big applause for Sting, because they're aware that Sting obviously has to wrestle Cody Rhodes tonight. But overall, it's Austin's first appearance in front of the screen in terms of promo like this. He's done stuff backstage. 94, just to get the cheap rating, because of course we've put the boost in just to try and get the perfect show. Everyone done well. We just had Darby apparently out there as well, doing nothing, but yeah. Straight in, and I wanted to see what we could do in the 0X division. And it was a good matchup. Sammy Guevara defeating Gable in 12:44 with a 6:30. Sammy making the fourth defence of the AEW 0X Championship. A solid 82 here. I felt like Gable would be able to carry it from a psychology point of view. I'm probably going to split up Alpha and try and phase Jason Jordan out, JJ, because he's obviously, because of his injuries in real life, the statistics, the attributes in game are not fantastic. So it's maybe for the best we just kind of put him into that road agent position that he has in real life here. But Sammy picks up the win, and as I say, we'll just keep having bangers for the 0X Championship. We then moved on to a TBS Championship match, and we had a surprise changing of the belt. New champion, and about to had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Arisa Nakajima defeated Thunder Rosa in 13:38 with a cutie special, giving the reign of the belt now to Arisa Nakajima, 78. Now you're wondering, why have we put the belt on Nakajima instead of Thunder Rosa? Nakajima has a very high psychology rate. I feel like putting her in with some of the younger talents coming through is going to be perfect, and we can just keep putting on banger after banger, and she can carry the match up in the TBS division, and it kind of lets Thunder Rosa, we can kind of move about with her and see what we can do. I did want to go with a big Thunder Rosa Tony Storm feud, but with them not clicking, that kind of detracted from those plans. But happy with that. As I say, we'll use Nakajima in a good role the worrying thing with Nakajima, she's 35, obviously in game the women retire a lot earlier than the men, so I'm hoping we can just utilise her while we've still got her before she seeks to retire. Celebration after the 78 rated matchup was a 71 rated celebration. Moving further on, we have a tag team match coming up, John Cena and Kevin Steen against CM Punk and MJF. It's just basically Kevin Steen and John Cena saying, well, you know, we've had our issues in the past, that's well documented, but we're both good guys, we both have a common enemy, you know, a lot of issues with MJF, and they say they can put previous bygones to be bygones and have a good match up tonight. So that was an 85 for Cena and Kevin Steen. And the matchup, well, let's just say it's spectacularly over-delivered, hence why it was so low down on the card. But an exceptional matchup, CM Punk and MJF pick up the win over Kevin Steen and John Cena in 13:42, and MJF pinned Kevin Steen with a Swanton Bomb. And 93, very unexpected. Matches only go 13 minutes because Cena's stamina is way down. It's the problem when you're using so many over people that are obviously icons and legends, that the matches don't last very long. Didn't know about CM Punk and MJF showing excellent chemistry together, so that's a nice surprise, because it's almost as if we could maybe make an alliance out of that. So we'll stay tuned on that one. But delighted with the 93, and that's good that we can make that in 13 minutes with just a regular match. And of course MJF and Steen have had a few things going on Rampage the last couple of weeks. Really wish I made that main event. Next up, good matchup. Keith Lee makes the next defence of the TNT Championship with a win over Garza Jr. in 15:58 with a Spirit Bomb. Pretty solid matchup, just giving Keith Lee another good victory here and a very game opponent in the form of Garza Jr. We then have an elaborate entrance. It is the debut in AEW together as a tag team, as my phone goes off, between Kofi and E. I don't have a tag team name for them yet, but I'm assuming by the time this goes live I'd have maybe thought of one, because obviously I don't want to use the New Day, but I was thinking what can replace that. So a 79 for the entrance. They're obviously placing the Young Bucks, and it was about they had great wrestling and it did have good heat, and it was Ian Kofi picking up the win over the Young Bucks in 14:21 when Kofi pinned Matt with Trouble in Paradise. Obviously we were not going to have Kofi lose his debut. The Young Bucks bringing 90 and 89 rated performances is fantastic. 82 overall though, because Psychology was a negative. I'd be really intrigued to see what kind of rating we could get here if we got Kofi to a decent level of overness and if we had the Psychology. So 82 is still solid. It was it Steal the Show? Steal the Show, yep. So that's probably the reason why we get the guaranteed 82. Next up, we had a match that had great heat and good wrestling. Wardlow defeated Brock Lesnar in 9:21 with the Splash Mountain Powerbomb. These two have been at it before, but they're going at it again, just basically Wardlow wanting his final revenge to take the beast out. 81 because it was the Wild Brawl matchup, and Lesnar couldn't go very long. He's got this stamina declining physical ability as well. But I feel like it's like someone that can make Wardlow look $1,000,000 and make him really legitimate. But at the same time, like when I sign Brock, it's like, what can I do with him? So it got me thinking, let's have him be frustrated in the back. And Paul Heyman, who I've had for a while, he's been with Hook quite recently, and he just says, what's happened to the Brock Lesnar I know? Maybe you need yourself some sort of type of advocate, some type of manager to get yourself back on track. Brock accepts, and we move on with a 70 rated segment. Then we had the final match in the Christian Cage career. Decent matchup. The Hardys defeated Ace and Christian Cage in 12:04 when Jeff Hardy pinned Christian Cage with the Twisted Fate and the Swanton Bomb combo. A very solid 79 rated matchup here. Christian and Jeff were off their game, which is a shame. Ace was head and shoulders above the rest in terms of performance. The plan was actually going to be initially to turn Ace heel on Christian as he departed, but it's too early for a turn for Ace, so keep him babyface just now. But yeah, big fan of Christian IRL, really great. Makes everything look so smooth, but he's retiring in game, so we have to move along. And as I say, if I'm tipping the hat this thing, I'm tipping the hat to Christian because I'm a big fan of his work. And after the matchup, Ace, Christian Cage and Hardys all shake hands, and they allow Christian to walk up the ramp himself to the applause of many in attendance. 64. We then had the Lucha Underground Trios Championships on the line. And it was a decent matchup that saw the House of Black, Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black and Brody King defeat Shinsuke Nakamura, Ricochet and Akira Tozawa in 12:03 when Brody King pinned Akira Tozawa with a Gonzo Bomb, giving them their third defence of the Lucha Underground Championships. I felt here there was obviously the connection between Ricochet and Tozawa as friends, and the same with Ricochet and Nakamura as friends, so I felt like we'll go with that. That seems like a good trio that can put on a good matchup with the House of Black, and giving Brody King the win is just really to try and get some overness in him to help him catch up with Buddy Matthews and then inevitably Malachi Black, but the House reigns supreme in this one. We then have a hype package for Sting, just again thanking him for his career and wishing him well before he takes on Cody Rhodes in his final match, which is a 75. And the matchup itself, that's not what you want to see in a retirement matchup, they don't click. About the show had the great heat, decent wrestling. Cody defeats Sting in 6:28 with a Crossroads. It was a 70. Stamina is obviously way down, so he was very, very limited in how long he could wrestle. I wasn't going to put him over a major star in the last kind of matchup, but disappointing not only managed to drag a 70 out of it, but it is a good farewell to the Stinger. After the matchup, Sting goes to celebrate, goes to shake the hand, of Cody, but Cody just laughs, mocks his hero, and he walks out. Cody looks excellent in this 7-9 rated segment, but of course the crowd do give their applause to Sting as he heads up the ramp. And your main event, which I thought was going to deliver, and I think anything over 20 minutes is just struggling in this save, but it was about that had superb wrestling, great heat, with Kenny Omega defeating Walter in 24:04 by pinfall with a 1-win Angel. I wanted to try these two together to see how it went. But 93, Kenny with 93, Walter with 82. Regular matchup. It might even do who was the road agent. It was Chris Sabin. But this is what leads to what's going to be happening at All Out, because after the matchup, Bryan Danielson comes out. Him and Kenny have a stare down. It's happening. All Out. We're going Omega versus Danielson, who truly is the best in the world. I really want to go all out, no pun intended, for the best match possible, with Kenny pretty much as hot as he's ever been in game. Bryan getting physical decline. This is the time to act. The show itself was in 92, probably saved by the opening promo, by the boost, and by that CM Punk Kevin Steen match. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to see where we go going forward. Just to give you an idea of one thing that is going to be taking place is Walter is going to move away from the Danielson Fight Dojo, but it's going to be like an Akamo, I can't even pronounce it there, a split in good terms basically. He's not turning babyface or anything. It's going to basically be, spoiler plans because it'll probably be in place for the next event, Walter is basically going to start his kind of dojo of fighters, some sort of camp in the ring. Timothy Thatcher's been cleared from his concussion. Axel Dieter Jr. is now on the books. I've got Drew Gulak kicking about, maybe Matt Riddle. We're going to have a lot of guys that can just kick a lot of ass, so that's going to be happening going forward. I'll figure out who's eventually going to be in the stable down the line, but looking forward to it. But overall, it's a nice show to get a thank you to Sting and a thank you to Christian Cage, but not the perfect ratings. But I had to as well make sure we had as many bigger names on there as possible, so we didn't get the lack of big name penalty as well. But 92, overall, pretty happy with it. So thank you very much for watching, it's much appreciated. As I say, the card hopefully will be as stacked as we can humanly make it possible for All Out. I mean, this didn't even have the Women's Champion on it, this didn't even have the World Champion on it, and these are all going to be people in action at All Out. So just confirm off the top of my head, what we are guaranteed to see, unless injuries happen in game, is MJF versus John Cena one more time. We're going to see Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson, and I can confirm we're also going to see for the AEW Tag Team Championships, it is going to be Private Party versus FTR. So until next time, thanks very much for watching. Remember to check out the Grey Dog Software forums and the Fantasy Booker subreddit. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.